Hi guys, today we're back for another video. We're going to play two table of 100 NL. So hope you enjoyed it and just dive into the action with this first all-in with pocket 5 in a splash pot, and he has ace jacks. So we're going to flip for the first hand. I win twice. And pocket sevens, we're going to open. Something great to do is when there's an all-in like this, just don't watch the boards. It's just not useful for you. I think not on GG, but on like PokerStars, you have programs where you can just hide the boards, and that's actually usually pretty good. Gonna stop this, and now with pocket sevens, I'm going to 1/3 on this flop. This is a really good board for you, and usually 1/3 is going to work pretty well, especially against a pool. So you can just 1/4, even 1/3, and that's also the easiest strategy to play. Ace enough here, I'm going to open. 8-7, I advise you not to open this type of hands, especially with the GG rake, which I assume most players, like even most winnings guy with rake back, are actually losing without, which is really understandable given the GG rake. So be careful be careful on not playing too loose pre-flop. Playing too loose is a bigger mistake than playing a bit too tight in general. Nice things here, we're going to call. We can also free bet, I think. So that's what I'm gonna do. When the regs is not knowing me, what I like to do is free betting a bit more this position because I expect more full pre-flop, and also expect players to be a bit too tight post flop. So if they don't know me, I'm gonna take the most aggressive option. On this flop here, I'm just going to bet 1/4. It's completely fine. And he raised. That's a pretty weird raise. I don't expect that many strong ends, to be honest. Like most queens will call. So I really want to be aggressive right now because I don't expect him to have a queen. I can call too, but I'm gonna call. I think like he really doesn't have a queen, so I prefer to call this type of hands. Like I can bluff a jack, the 6 or the 9 can be great. So yeah, I think it's still a great call because if you don't expect the queens, there are too many runouts that you can bluff, and for the odds, you just need to play this way. Okay, so I open. This guy free bets, call, and this guy jam against my 4 bets. It's not the ideal situation, but yeah, it feels like aces. But anyway, I don't think he can fold queen. Kings, I don't know. I know his players, and I really think he has aces, but well, I'm not gonna fold king. No, okay, he's okay. That's why you shouldn't fold. Yeah, I mean, ace king is wanting to play the same way, so you can't really fold kings. Just I wanted to have a read on his timing, but as you see, like sometimes I'm just not having too much concern with the timing things because you can't really exactly know. So you're just going to play range against range here, and he won this one. Queen 10 off here, I'm going to open against cutoff. H3 suited, I'm gonna fold, and Jack 7. I think if you play like 10 NL, 20 NL, like you can open this type of hand against big blind because most players will just not free bet enough. So this type of closing starts to make money. And Jacobs, I'm gonna call against a high PP guy. I mean, he only play 4 hands and a fish on the big blind. I think I will win the pot enough here to call. That will be a bit different. Big blind was a reg, but here definitely needs to call. Now I'm gonna just take the bet all the time here. Expect way too much fold and fold. Jack 8. There should be a fold, but against his size, I think we should call this type of hand, especially given he's free betting frequency. Yeah. On his board, Jack 8 is way too bad to call. So I'm going to call this one. Okay, is this going to be a reg? No, okay. Yeah, it's in the middle. I'm going to free bet ace for suited. In general, when you don't have the 4-bet stats, in general, profiles that are not profiles who are not free betting enough or close to the same or not free betting enough, like stuff for to find someone's with under free betting to 4-bet enough. So I'll take this information, even if it's not extremely precise. I'm going to bet 1/3 on this board. So theoretically, it's not the good strategy. You should play a mixed strategy here, but I don't expect the population to play well enough against 1/3. So I'm just going to bet all the time this type of hand. And here Jack 10, I'm going to play this as a check. You can bet too. Queen 8/6 is a pretty poor board for you. You should play with some checks here. I think it's something that most players are not doing enough. So when you're in position and you face a bet here, you can raise a bit more, call a bit more. I'm gonna check raise here. Again, this size, expect too many bets here, and expect too many 4-1s. He has deuces, threes, 4, 5, 7s. So I like the raise here. And most players will just jam the pocket 6, pocket 8 region now. So when he call, I can even put pressure later a bit more. Check deuce here, decided to free bet pre-flop. And he fold. I will just bet small on the flop here against this guy. Call and the turn. I think we really need to bet. Of course, if you fold an ace on free streets, I need to check the turn and let him bluff the river. Yeah, that's not easy. I'm gonna bet because like bet is really higher in EV compared to the check. But if he has a lot of like floats combo that can bluff the river, actually check is better even with the juice. So I would have check like ace queen, even ace queen, because I think it just make more money in the checking line for all the reason I said. But I juice and blocking the a6 and having always free streets against like ace queen is jack. I think you still need to bet, but yeah. There are some cases where I will check, but not here. Ace 4 here against 2-player. I'm not going to bet on this flop. Ace 8 suited against a tweaks open. I will just. So that's a really loose call. And I think with the fish rack here, I can make this type of call. Ace 4, I'm going to bet big. That's really close, honestly. But if he opens 2.2 or fold, and I think against 2x, like you should have a flatting range, and this should be a flat, but that's really close. Against 2.5, I don't really advise two flats. I'm gonna call here, he says. And now when this guy call on the 6, I do believe I'm going to pot again. I think he will fold the king often. And he will find some fold with I don't have the good blockers to do that, but I expect 7x to bet often on the turn. Will not have that much 6x pre-flop, so I think I can just make fold the king. Probably better to overbet here. Yeah, I think overbet is better. That's fine. Ace 8 now, I'm going to call on turn, and now on the river. I want to do a really weird thing. I think his bet turn is too merge. I think he has too many ace jack ace 10 now, and I want to make fold splits because I don't think they bluff the river, and I think he has way too much for this 6 combo. Yeah, I'm gonna check. I don't have enough time to think about it, but it seems ace 10 all the time to me. Yeah, ace jack, exactly. I was really close. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure about the accuracy of my reasoning here. And if I like the leads here, but it's not the ace of spades, so I'm gonna call and bluff later. Now we'll just pot fast, and I guess he will fold. Yep. I was really sure about the read here with ace 8, so I do believe we can do this play. Even this sounds extremely weird because you have showdown value, but if his range is specifically narrowed super often on like 10 ace jacks, and you need to overbet because it's just the best move because you want to make fold split. But sometimes what I'm doing is when I'm not sure about a move, and I only have like 5 seconds to play, I just play more conservative because I saw that when I review my game, I had too many spots where I call last seconds, for example, or like I make a raise at last seconds, and this type of move were not really great. So it's really something I advise you is when you come close to the 0 seconds time bank, you just play the most conservative option, which is not always fold. For example, if I know a spot is usually over bluff, but I'm not sure, then I will tend to take the conservative option and tend to call. But 95% of the time, I would just fold the seconds because just avoid the spew here. Okay, nice 5. I'm going to bet 3/4. This is a board you can even bet bigger on. Um, and this type of textures are always bet big. You have one single exception. If it's your button against big blind, the board is 8-5 deuce. There is no straight on the board. The board is a bit dry, but you're not going to use overbet that much for many reasons, but mostly because even if the board doesn't look scary, there are a lot of turns that are really not that good for you. And you're going to isolate yourself against straight a lot when you bet 3/4 and he calls his gut shot, for example, on many runouts like 3, 4, 6, 7. So you're not going to use overbet, but here on the 9-5, it's completely fine to bet big bets, especially cut off against big blind. But usually this type of texture you can use big bets, especially when it's like 9-8 deuce, for example. They're a bit more dynamic. 8-7 here facing a check. So if he range check, I need to range check. Okay, close to range check. And if he has a mixed strategy, should start betting sometimes for bigger sizing. And I'm not going to bet this hand super often. Pocket aces, I'm going to check early position. At early position. Now on the turn. So theoretically, it's a great combo to check, but against the pool, I'm not really sure. I think I will still check against this guy. Actually, bet is great. Yeah, I'm gonna pot. It's not theoretically optimal, but and 8-7 here. I think I want to raise. I'm gonna raise a bigger sizing here. I think the ranges is too weak for two reasons. Like he will be overweight to all weekends because most players would just play good end as a bet on the flop or check and a big bet. So I know that when he goes in the check bet line, check small blind line, the ponderation of really strong hands are weaker and you can abuse on this type of race here. Okay, 9-4 suited. I'm going to fold. I can open it if it's two Rex, recreational players. A lot of you tell me like they can't really know if I say reg or rex because of the accent. So I'm gonna say recreational now. King 6, I'm gonna fold. 9-6, I'm going to fold. Ace 5-2. These are tag I played, I used a long time ago. So I expect most players they tag in blue to be regular. 9-7, I'm gonna fold, and Jack 10 here. I'm going to open. Okay, I'm going to free bet against this guy. I think you can free bet maybe slightly more on this pool because players are too tight pre-flop. They're not all too tight, but the pool has a general tendency to be a bit tighter on these limits. So I expect Jack 10 as a free bet to win a bit more because I expect less 4 bets and I also expect more folds post-flop on a bluff. And this will compensate the EV loss of me not getting called enough on a 8. Something. Jack 10 here, I'm going to check. This board is okay for you, but the board evolved badly. So when there is a flush draw, you should bet a bit less. Betting Jack 10 is completely fine. But I still expect check to be a great option. And on the Jack, now he'll not have that many flushes. Like most flush draw will bet on the flop. But the range I value when I bet is going to bet from himself if he has a Jack. But he has all like the pocket pair we've heard. So I'm gonna bet here. I'm gonna bet 16. I think it's a great size. Will not fold the Jack. Can have all the ace queen we've heard. So I expect enough calls here from him. Now the river is the worst, but he doesn't have that many ace of hearts. Actually, he only have ace queen. Can I even expect this queen to call a bit faster? But that's a detail. So I was evaluating the turn, but now I think I need to bluff, and I don't expect enough players to find a call here. So I'm just going to bet 36, and I expect a lot of fold with pocket 8, pocket 9s. Even ends like King Jack actually. So yeah, I think I need to bluff. This is super spot. Like this happens really not often, but here I think it was needed. King Jack off here. I'm going to call. King Jack. I don't really like to bet that much spots where usually people range bet because the checking range is a bit stronger. So I'm just going to check fold here. And the reason also why I don't like is because when you bet the turn, you want to make full SI, but SI ends just check the turn also and fold the reverse. So it's actually better to delay your aggression. But I expect this range here to be just stronger. So I'm gonna play King Jack as a check fold. Ace 9, I'm going to free bet here. And King 10, I'm going to open too. Facing free bet full and King 10 off, I'm going to free bet. So the reason why I'm free betting this hand is generally it's a free bet like 15% of the time, depending on the rake and stuff. But I don't expect enough 4-bets when people play a bit deeper, like 140 dips, for example. Yeah, of course, when I say is that the 4-bet, but that's a slightly difference that will compensate the EV loss. I also expect when players to call to do too many mistakes, not calling off, not raising enough. So like the bottom in position as a free bet is going to win more money compared to GTO. So I'm going to free bet more on this type of hand as an next blow here. King 3, I'm gonna fold, King 5 folds. King Jack, I will open. And here we have, oh yeah, forced. It's great. I will jam. So when people limps, it's close to always a limp fall. So you can jam extremely aggressively here, especially when there are not that many players to play in the pots. I'm gonna jump pocket force here. Queen jack suited. I'm going to free bets, and we have a limp call for once. But every time I say something like this in videos, let's do the opposite. But anyway, Queen jack suited. You can bet small on this flop. He had this queen. Okay, interesting. You can bet small. You can check. I'm gonna check here on the spot. This is a bad ball for you. I think theoretically it's a range check. It's really close to range check. But like, if you have some really small bets, you can use them at low frequency. Now he bet half pots. I think his range is a bit stronger. And I actually think that Queen Jack plays. I think Queen Jack play better as a call. I wanted to raise, but I don't think raising is that great. This is a really shitty size. I think I need to call lead fall here because he doesn't have that many flushes. I think when he bet alpha on the flop, he will have some, of course, when he plays this line. Yeah, but sets can just check back too. I think I need to call and check. Yeah. But I mean, when I bet small, I value queens and jacks. This is really complicated because now I not even value pocket eights, pocket tens. Yeah, this is stuff. I don't have enough time to think about it, so I'm gonna take the most conservative option. I'm gonna check, but I think betting might be the best option here. Yeah, he has queens. And if I bet 17, you always call this type of hand. I think flushes can also take the lower setting on the turn, so on the flop. So actually on the turn, Strick has like jacks, queens at high frequency here. And she loses against all sets and all flushes. So I need to have 50%, and she has only have 6 combos of jacks and queens. Really complicated. When I review it later. Ace deuce here. I'm going to check the turn. Let's check raise if he did bet here. And on the turns, not that many interest to bet ace deuce, to be honest. So mainly going to play this to check, and most of my betting region here is strong, so I'm gonna bet mainly polar. I don't mind having a small bet here, probably like one third, 2/3 and overbet on the turn. And on the river, I expect sevens. Actually, I will bet small here. I expect enough calls. Like, this is a situation where even when I have an ace, like the ponderation of ace queen ace king is so high, and people don't have a 10 that check and flop check turns. And I think even the deuce is actually I just has enough equity against the pool for me to value bet. Jack all full and pocket queens here. So I'm gonna bet the flop. I'm gonna bet one big blind here. Fold, okay. King queen I free bets. Just going to 1/3 here. Can use 1/3 range, 1/4, and both are the same. They're gonna change that much. 8-5 here, I'm going to call. He check. Now on the ace. Typically, you should play close to range check, and the only vision that wants to bet has enough equity to bet extremely big. So we're gonna mainly play twig spot or check here, something like this. And now I'm just going to check fold. Nothing to do. You want to bluff? Just take one pair. Here's great. You have 5 outs against most of the value region, so I'll actually prefer a pair compared to gut shot here. Ace jack off all 3 bets and 7-6. I'm going to fold. Folds. And we have pocket jacks. Now I can't say I don't have good hands. This again is really weak in general. It's really, really rare to see people opening twigs and call you. So you can jam extremely aggressively here. I don't jam 7-3 off, but you understood. And I think with jacks, yeah, I'm gonna jam. I thought about raising like 50, but I don't really want with my stack size here. So I prefer the jam. It's gonna be folded fold super often now. Oh. Okay. Oh wow. Ace queen and ace queen. Okay. Seems people start to flat a bit more. I mean, I have a sample bias. It's not because the flat ace queen against an open 2 times that the ranges that flats and open twigs are stronger. And I guess we win. No, that's a king. Okay. Oh, it was a queen anyway. Okay, and we have enough nice stack size and yeah. Tinker with a little less. King 6, I'm going to call here against an open. And facing the call, I think I'm going to squeeze this in. Just hope that this guy doesn't know me because I often say in video they just over squeeze completely massively. The main reason is because when you play a bit deeper, like when I say the re-raise me, but anyway, yeah, that's exactly what I say. When you play a bit deeper, people like 5 bets, so this type of squeeze win way more than you think. I can do the you can simulate this on Monker. Like you put less 4 bets and you see how it doesn't impacts the 4 bets squeeze region. But now I want to call because if I think it's a kind of a bluff. Even this sizing is like more bluff TV, but I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna play conservative again. Don't have enough time to think about it. This is a super worst size. Like a 4 is betting smaller. I'm gonna fall because my blockers are really bad about too much falls. But I don't mind raising. With lower cards, it's gonna be better. We'll get 8 here. I'm going to bet small. Again, this is not a range bet typically, but I expect bet here to work super often, so I'm clearly going to overbluff. And if one guy sees me overbluffing or is adapting to my strategy, then I will deviate. But I think pocket 8 here is a good hands to barrel with, especially because on a lot of rivers, like some queens, some kings, I will not have that many bluffs in the region. Now the fact it's the ball throwables make me want to bluff a bit less, but actually not that much. Main reason is because a lot of players here are going to raise when they have like his jack, king, queen. And it's actually great because now on the river, I will generate more fold in proportion of his range to his range. So I'm fine with that. Going to open his king here. Or open 9-7 also. Ace king. I'm going to so against a lead. I think we should raise, but that actually this is closer than what you think because there are not that many renals where I can value bet lower king x. But I think I have the best in white too much. I really need to raise this king. Uh, Profiles that tends to lead on a flop are not going to fold the turn here when I bet bigs. I'm gonna bet if he has a king, he's going to call. Yeah, okay. King queen, I'm going to call the free bet here. And facing a check, I think my hand wants to check here, especially against the pool. And on the turn, I'm going to, yeah, I think I have the best hand often, but I don't think I value that much when I raise here. So I'm just going to call, let him bluff the river, and just value bet queens and kings now. Even if I think the main combos that he will have now are like, that's tough. Probably ace jack. I would say he has ace jack. Now he doesn't have ace jack. His jack will think a bit more, I think. Ice queen, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna bet anyway. I usually use a fold in spots, but yeah. Maybe I can bet out spots because, oh wow, fuck. Let me think about it. I have 36 seconds. I'm gonna think. There's something wrong with this line, but I still think I have to fold. This is so rare. What he's not jamming. I'm gonna call, but this should be really, really close to be honest. No, he had flushes. Okay. Yeah, I thought that like flushes might often bet in the bet flop, bet turn line. And I was a bit surprised he was not going all in, so I thought he will have less like not flushes. And usually I tend to always fold in type of spots because like most players are not bluffing enough the river ratio. I was a bit curious. I think that was the video and low limit effects. But anyway, I think you can just follow the time in the spots without like trying to find a good call. So usually it's what I do in these limits. I just always fold and sometimes try to find a call. But like I think if you like if I review all the spots I play in the limits where I just call the river raise, I think it's just losing. Even trying to think about spots individually. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Okay, guys.